G'day everyone, this is Health Highlights, a show about health, health professionals and the people and the stories behind the names we hear about but we seldom get to meet. And this is a name that I'm sure many of you have heard of. Ryan Stig, how are you?
Good, thanks Simon.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So many of you will have heard about Ryan and his incident with the football with his clot in the back of his eye, but there's a whole nother story behind that we really want to unpack and share with you today. So Ryan, how's it all going at the moment?
Yeah, pretty good at the moment. I've made a lot of improvement from where I was probably 4 years ago. When I initially got sick, I got pretty sick there, but at the moment doing pretty well. I still have a few things that bother me, but I think the improvement I've made is really good, and I'm really happy with where I'm at the moment.
Wonderful, wonderful. So let's go back to 2011, and I remember it because I was at home, and here this name Ryan Stig started flashing across the screen. So can you sort of talk to us a little bit about how that rise of fame for you was?
Yeah, sure. It was a really exciting time for me as well. I felt like I'd had a really good preparation. I probably thought I was ready to play maybe a year or two earlier. But I just had to wait through a few different circumstances and persist. So I felt like I was probably really ready. And I think when I was able to play then, it just gave me a good platform to really start my career. And had a really good season in 2011, and we made the semi-finals, and was able to play a few good games there and play with some great players. Guys I'd grew up watching playing, so that was a real buzz for me at a young age. But finished 2011. I signed a new contract with the Knights, and then was really unable to further it on any longer because things just sort of went downhill after that.
So can you sort of talk us a little bit? So what happened? And what was the result of that?
So at the end of 2011, I had a number of surgeries. I was a bit banged up and went in for those surgeries, but post those surgeries, I just, in hindsight, I can see it now, but I was just a bit flat, and I was lacking some energy. But just being an athlete, I think in ways you program yourself out of listening to your body a little bit, because you have to go through that threshold, that pain threshold daily. And I think I was probably a bit just desensitized to looking to my body, really listening to my body. And in hindsight, I was really flat and really tired. I was coming home and sleeping a lot, in between and after training, which is okay, but it was just probably a little bit too much looking back. And then then I had an eye problem start to appear. It was just originally when I sat up, or when I laid down or I was standing, it was fine. But then it just gradually got worse, and then I remember I just had to leave training one day, and so then it sort of started down that path.
And so what was that condition that you had then?
They were really perplexed and just diagnosed it as a blood clot in the eye. They had no real idea. I went to so many really astute and good doctors, and they were just unable to really put a finger on it. Initially they just diagnosed it as a blood clot in the right eye, but then as things progressed, it was kind of the tip of the iceberg, when we started really looking deeper into things, I had some problems that started to appear with my brain, and then further it progressed into a lot of the neurological symptoms, which were probably the hardest thing over time to deal with.
And so many of us heard about the clot, and that was about it. So,
exactly.
So tell us about the next 5 years. So it was a very tough journey for you. So can you sort of just walk us through what happened?
Okay. Like I said, it originally appeared with the blood clot in the eye, but then over time, I started to really deteriorate physically as well, so started to get lesions appearing on the brain and stuff like that. So we really explored a lot of the neurological aspects of it, and had some really good doctors who were really helpful and done their very best. But I was just unable to, reverse it. I was just going downhill really fast. Got to the point where I was really struggling to like effective function of the limbs.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I was headed for a wheelchair. Like, I probably was just able to, you know, for a bit of, I don't know, I was pretty determined not to you know, get in there. I had a wife and little girl at that point, so yeah, I was very determined not to let that happen. But yeah, just cognitive function was really hard. I think we were talking just before about my job was it was very physical, but then, you know, in that downtime when I was sick, I was unable to, I guess, do much else just due to the my cognitive functioning being so impaired at the same time, which was very frustrating.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
me.
You can't do a thing when you can't read or look
Exactly.
or do anything like that.
Busy environment, so I couldn't go to the shops or drive or yeah, just, you know, finding sometimes, like, it wasn't all the time, but if I was having a bad day, you know, finding which section to put a knife or fork in was difficult.
Wow.
Yeah, so just, yeah.
And so what was the turning point? So obviously you've been going downhill.
Yeah.
Did a diagnosis come, or did you sort of, how did it sort of start to turn around?
Yeah, so I was going downhill fast, so I was starting to look for alternatives. And I had friends sort of say, oh, you know, I've been treating Lyme disease, and a lot of your symptoms seem similar. And yeah, so I started to explore that. I went got some testing done, which came back positive, and then started doing treatment for that. But it was just really high dose antibiotics, and I was just going really up and down. I didn't think I was pretty bad. So then I started to look at just some overseas clinics, which to me were offering a bit more than was available here, which I thought might be able to speed up my recovery.
Great.
And yeah, I'm really glad that I did that. I think until then I was able to stabilise initially.
Yep.
And then as I'd done a few more trips, and then was really able to start to get on top of things.
So can you talk us through, so what were some of the treatments, and what did they do for you?
Yeah, so originally I went to a clinic in Mexico, in Tijuana. A lot of people, it might be a surprise to many, but in the States, you have so many people heading down there for medical treatment. Really, really good, affordable and holistic sort of treatment, which, yeah, a lot of stuff which isn't available in the States also. So I went there originally, and that was just able, it probably stabilised me a bit. I don't think I got a whole heap of improvement, but it just stopped me going downhill to, you know, plateauing a bit, and I was really happy with that at the time.
Absolutely.
You know? I shouldn't say I did improve. I got my energy picked up a lot. I still had a few of the neurological symptoms, but I was yeah.
And so what did they do for you there? What was the treatment?
A lot of like intravenous vitamins, minerals, oxygen therapy, ozone stuff. What else? Have like a biox, so it's like a hydrogen peroxide type drip. Yeah, so just really a holistic, you know, antiviral, antibacterial type stuff, which I found really beneficial. But then probably wasn't until I think it was 2014, chose to go to Germany and get some hypothermia done. I kind of felt like I was keeping it at bay to an extent, but I was just kind of still declining slowly. And I just felt like I'm not going to be able to get on top of this, you know, unless I go on. So, and when I got the hypothermia done in Germany, I remember that was the moment where I felt like I started to move upwards.
Wow.
I got a really drastic kick up, like probably a 50% improvement straight away.
So for those who don't know what hypothermia is, can you explain what they actually did?
Yeah, so they put you to sleep, and over about 8 hours they heat your body temperature to around 42 degrees, and they just hold you there. They give you a few drips and different things, like I know they inject glucose into you because they say that the Lyme bacteria and co-infections are attracted to the sugar and the glucose, so it brings them out of the cells. And anyone who has Lyme would know that they're it's really hard to kill them because they do hide in the cells, you know, the bacteria.
Yep.
So they do little things like that to you while you're asleep. But but basically the idea is that, you know, when you're sick you get a fever, so it's taking that.
So what they're doing is they're ramping up the fever, try and kill the bacteria, and get your body back into.
I like it because they're plugging into your body's natural spot. You know, your body's natural response to infection is a fever.
That's right.
So they're just supporting your body in getting rid of it in a natural way. So
Great.
That appealed to me, and that was I probably got like a 50%. I would say 50% jump straight away.
Awesome.
I was pretty low, granted, but for me that was a real catalyst in I guess reversing it and really seeing me track upwards. So,
beautiful.
Yeah.
And then I read in the Herald article just recently about you that you also did a water fast for 40 days.
Yeah.
So what was the reason for that, and where does sort of that fit into the treatment for you?
Yeah, so that was post Germany. I had a lady just reach out to me and say that she was quite sick with a similar condition, and that she done an extended fast, and she's seen remarkable benefits, and then I just looked into it and, you know, talked to a few different people, and they assured me that I'd be fine. You know, I'd definitely known about fasting from a spiritual perspective and stuff like that, but to go just fully on water, I didn't understand the body's processes that your body goes through to to use the fat and burn different things and increase stem cell production, growth hormone, stuff like that. So that was really interesting, and then I just seen it as a way to I guess keep the momentum going after. And
so you found that took the steps
it accelerated
further.
It again.
Wonderful.
Yeah, accelerated again, and then.
And so was it hard? 40 days, 35 you said.
Yeah.
So did you find that you had these really ups and downs as you went through that journey?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yep. Really hard, and it is. You do need to get an environment that's conducive to you doing not much, and you know, a support network that can back you up, because you do need to just rest, and it's pretty hard to do a lot. It's good because, you know, all you need to do is get yourself a drink of water, really. But so from that, you know, there's not a heap to do, but you do need a bit of downtime. So but extremely hard from a mental perspective. I think we underestimate how much of our life is surrounded by food.
Absolutely.
We celebrate something, we have dinner, or so that there's a real disconnect from a lot of the things you do day to day, which is hard, but it's definitely one of the hardest things I've done, but one of the most beneficial as well. Yeah.
I think one of the things is that in our lifestyle today, we don't actually give our bodies a rest.
Yeah.
And that's what fasting does, really.
It forces you.
It forces you to have a rest and have a bit of a clean out, which I know there are some great benefits in that. So that's wonderful.
Absolutely.
So you've done all that, and when did you start finding that you're getting back into normal life again? And are you back into normal life now?
Yeah. Pretty much for the most part. I post that fast, I was pretty well, but I just wasn't quite confident. I just had still a few things going on which I probably wasn't confident enough to be able to really jump back into life, and probably stayed at about that level for about a year, and then it was about a year and a half ago, 2016, I decided to do one more trip overseas, just I guess I felt it would just give me that last little push, and it would get me to a point where I could get back into life again.
Great.
So post that trip, I got some more improvement. I went to a Swiss clinic, which was really really good. It really big on the regenerative side of things, and because that's where I felt I felt like I was on top of the infection side of things, but I still felt like I had some lingering, I guess, damage, because it really attacks your nervous system. And, so I was able to get some real purchase out of the regenerative side of things, and then when I came back, I sort of started stepping back into things. So,
great. And I saw that you are training again in footy and running around a bit, which is awesome.
Yeah. So I've been doing a bit of training, and looking to yeah, just I suppose keep that improvement going, and just I guess looking now, I get my health is the most important thing to me.
Great.
When it gets taken away from you, it's it's hard to put a value on something that you haven't paid a price for. I think and now that I've paid such a price to get back to real health, it's really important to me.
Absolutely, that's fabulous.
Yeah.
So 2 last questions. It's been a fascinating interview. Thank you so much for your honesty. Lyme disease. Did they tell you where it came from or how you got it, or?
Not really. And it's there's a lot of people struggle here in Australia to sort of get the right direction. I suppose.
Absolutely.
For me, it was. I feel like there's a little bit too much emphasis placed on whether you caught it here or didn't catch it here, or what, or when you got bitten. For me, I was already sick, so that was hindsight. It didn't, you know what I mean?
Yep.
I just think more, where you got it doesn't really matter. You just need to get better.
Yes, that's right.
I didn't put too much emphasis on where I got it, or if it impacted how they treated you, I would maybe put a bit more emphasis on it. But for me, a lot of the treatments I've done were holistic treatments that they do for people with cancer or viral conditions. So it's a broad-based approach that was going to help me anyway.
That's right.
So I didn't put a lot of emphasis on it. I think one of the main things going through it is, like I would always say to Andrew, we just need to major on the major things and minor on the minors, because there's so much to cover. You just need to be really deliberate about. Yeah, so that, I suppose that's
great.
Something that helped us. Yeah,
that's so good.
Yeah.
And finally, I know there's a lot of people out there with Lyme disease, for example, or chronic diseases.
Yeah.
What advice would you give them who, they're probably all on different parts of the journey that you've been on? What would you say to those guys out there who are going through something like that as an encouragement to them?
Yeah, sure. I suppose I'd just say similar to what I was just saying to Simon, just to major on the major things and minor on the minors, because there's so much to sort through, and I know you're probably doing it all yourself, or trying to do it all yourself. You've probably got support from the doctor or whoever you're seeing, but I would be really deliberate just with where you're spending your money, to be really practical, because I think resource and being able to access the right treatment is really crucial in your recovery. And that'd be a few things. Just be really deliberate with what you're doing, and just don't get caught up in the I suppose I know it's frustrating that we can't, like a lot of people can't get the right treatment and stuff like that, but just focus on what you can control.
So good.
And because stress is not good, there's already stress there, so there's a few things. A lot of people reach out to me, and we just chat via Facebook or other platforms, so I'm more than happy to talk to anyone who's struggling as well. So.
Well, Ryan, it's been an absolute pleasure. Well done on getting healthy and getting back into life. I think it's amazing. A lot of people out there with Lyme disease do have a long struggle. Yeah. And you're an inspiration to many people to see that you've come through it and now you're at the other side. Yeah. Thank you everyone for joining us. It's a fascinating interview. Look, we're going to have another incredible interview for you next week, 12:30 same time. Remember, healing is a gift, health a responsibility. Have a great week. See ya. Thanks, Ryan.